Hey, young America, we need to talk. You may think this is uncool, you may even think it is bogus, but I want to tell you about something that has everyone buzzing. Something that concerns mature boys and girls just like you. Something called grass. Not that grass. I'm talking about marijuana. You may have heard of it. You may have seen someone smoking it, like those burnout bohemians or that crazy-eyed custodian at your school. You may have taken a toke or two. But do you know the whole story? Do you know the blunt truth?
We sat down with Scott Chipman, director of SavePB.org. Scott Chipman is a voice of the community and a representative of a community of Pacific Beach residents that have been here for quite some time. In case you didn't know, they are the ones responsible for the ban of alcohol in Pacific Beach and Mission Beach. Here's what Scott Chipman had to say about his thoughts and the community thoughts about medical marijuana inside the San Diego area.
The idea was and is that, let's say you're a hospice caregiver. Mm-hmm. The purpose of the law was to allow somebody who is, and you can read the law itself, don't quote me on the law, go to the law, because I'm not quoting from the law, but that was to allow someone who is a primary caregiver who's responsible for the safety and care and housing, or safety or care or housing of the patient, to be able to provide marijuana. Mm-hmm. And it's really only allowed them a defense for against prosecution. Yeah, that's true. So it basically said, you know, if you're a primary caregiver responsible for the safety, care, and housing of this individual, a patient, then, and you're in possession of marijuana, then you can use that as a defense against prosecution.
We then asked Mr. Chipman more precisely about Prop 215 and Prop 420 and the social responsibility of medical marijuana dispensaries in the community. Here's what he had to say.
Now it's been expanded, interpreted very loosely by some communities and many businessmen and drug dealers to say, well, we have a right to provide marijuana, or it's legal to provide marijuana. Some people think that medical marijuana is legal. Medical marijuana is not legal. That would be something to clear up too.
Yeah, no, you're making very good points.
Medical marijuana is not legal.
Yeah.
It's not legal in the state. It's not legal in federally.
Level. Yeah.
So all it did was it provided for a defense against prosecution.
And then it transformed from that, the original intent, into I broke my arm skateboarding. I can go complain to a doctor.
I have stiffness or soreness.
Yeah.
I have muscle soreness, migraines, whatever. If you
Although we weren't allowed to go into marijuana dispensaries legally because we don't have the proper forms, we were able to get into a liquor store because we felt that a liquor store, as well as a dispensary, share similar characteristics and social responsibility. For example, you can't go into a medical marijuana dispensary without a form, like you can't buy alcohol unless you're 21 years of age. The responsibility of both companies also extends to the community in that you're not supposed to have someone that has a card go and get marijuana for you, nor are you supposed to have someone that's 21 get alcohol for you. So we ended up at our favorite liquor store, Hub Liquor, located at 3347 Mission Boulevard, and talked to the owner for a few questions. Here's what he had to say. Alright, so do you feel as an owner of or as a manager here of a store that you have a responsibility to keep the community, by not selling alcohol to minors? Like if a minor came in here that wanted to buy alcohol, like what would you do? Just kick them out? Have you ever had a fake ID, like, and known it's fake, or what do you usually take the ID or just tell them to get out?
We
keep
the IDs.
Oh. That's awesome. That's cool. All right, perfect. That's the first question, and then the second question. Since like 2006, a few years ago, have you noticed a trend in like the purchase of goods, non-alcoholic, just other goods like edible goods, like crackers and chips and stuff. Has like been a lot of that lately, or not so much, or
Not that much.
not that much? Alright, perfect. And last question. If you suspect that a customer is buying alcohol for a minor, what would you like?
I will not sell it to you.
You won't sell it to them. How do you know that they might be selling it to minors? Is there anything that you could counter?
Sometimes you can tell, sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes you can just, we watch the cameras outside. If we see that happen and give him money, we don't let it do that.
Okay.
Somebody comes and he's 21, we sell it.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Cam.
We were discussing in class about how McDonald's keeps getting sued over, kids getting fat and getting sick over their food. Do you feel that with marijuana just in general, that it shouldn't be as much of a government issue, but an issue on society to say don't use marijuana, or do you feel the government should step in and control it like that?
Well, I think government should be reflective of the people, and the people need to seriously look at this issue and get educated on it, which is the problem, because there is mostly there is misinformation on it. And even though there's lots of good information available now, this is an age of misinformation and political correctness and twisting the facts to match your personal agenda, and that's certainly what's happening with those people who are opening up dispensaries. I'll give you a perfect example, and it's even worse than that. Some of them are more blatant. PB 420, which is
Just up the street, isn't it?
you know where it is, but
Yeah.
it's over the Jiffy Lube, down about 4 blocks that way, on the south side of the street. It has Cheech and Chong approved. Now, you guys are pretty young, but
We've seen the show.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong were two stand-up comedians whose focus was to make a living making fun of being stoned. So they were not medical patient treatment people.
Or
So,
patients, yeah.
yeah. So, the fact that this guy would open up a business and sell what, quote unquote, medical marijuana, and then use Cheech and Chong as mascots, and actually have the names Cheech and Chong approved in the title of his business, is an indication that this is a scofflaw.
1923, the Canadian government criminalized marijuana with no public debate or scientific basis. 2001, marijuana was approved for medicinal use. 2003, a review of 15 studies concluded that chronic marijuana use causes no significant impairments. 2002, Canada's Senate recommended that marijuana should be legal. These are real facts. The law bans us from lying on TV, and the 85-year-old law still bans us from possessing marijuana. Brought to you by the Toronto Seed Bank.
Rolled in zigzags, or puffed from 7th period woodshop projects, the smoke from this plant causes a brief state of euphoria, immediately followed by permanent insanity. Users are prone to unpredictable behavior, including junk food binges, joyride, and a sudden urge to wear sunglasses at night.